Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars The Black Series, IG-12, and Grogu. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top we have nothing and a hook, some tape. Star Wars The Black Series, nice big window showcasing the figures. And, well, I don't see any accessories unless these guys count as accessories. Number 41 in the Mandalorian series, IG-12 and Grogu. Star Wars The Mandalorian. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4 and up, assortment number, Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. Now on this side, nothing much at the top there. At the very bottom, Star Wars The Black Series, and right above that, you have a stripe that goes upwards at an angle and then around to the back as well. On this side, got some nice artwork of IG-12 and Grogu and the Anzellans from the Mandalorian. Well, the artwork isn't from the Mandalorian, but you guys know what I mean. And then here's that same artwork here on the back. Star Wars The Black Series, IG-12 and Grogu. Clever Anzellan droid smith refurbish IG-11 salvage parts into a pilotable frame for Grogu, who operates the droid body like a vehicle. Stripped to base motor functions, the droid was renamed IG-12. And then here it is again in some other languages that I don't read or understand. Number 41 in Star Wars The Mandalorian. Warning, attention, Octoon. Don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Includes 2 figures and 2 accessories, so the Anzellans count as accessories. Attention, especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Disney print, small fine, legalese, made in China print, Hasbro print, and that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and, well, the accessories. It's really all figures. So that's weird that they said accessories. But the Anzellans are actually listed on the package as accessories, even though they're not much smaller than Grogu. So let's take a look at the accessories. So I will have to say they do a pretty decent paint job, and they look like the little puppet dudes. And I think they're okay, and I think for the most part there's a lot of reuse here from Rise of Skywalker, most likely. There is a little bit of articulation in the head, but it's not much. And then a little bit of articulation in the arms. They're on a ball. Like there's a ball on the arm and it plugs into the socket on the figure. And there's a little bit of twist here as well. I think it's where this glove is. And then he has some twist rotation at the waist. So minimal articulation, and maybe that's why they list him as accessory, but we'll get into that later. And this one has pretty much the same articulation. So let's take a look at the paint and the deco and stuff. So it looks pretty neat. You know, it's pretty standard for Black Series. Now let's take a look at Grogu, and who is classified as a figure, even though he's not. I think he has less articulation than the Anzellans, maybe, but a little bit greater range of motion. The head, of course, is on a ball joint, and it will look up and down a little bit, not much. It does do the full Exorcist, and that's pretty much it as far as the head articulation goes. Now at the shoulders, again, there's dumbbells coming out of the body, I think, and ball sockets on the end, of course. So, you know, you get a little bit of in and out there for Grogu, and he can rotate his arm all the way around, and then again have dumbbells at the wrists, so it gives him, you know, a moderate amount of rotation there, waggle. He's got all kinds of waggle there with his hand, and a full rotation. And that's pretty much it. The feet look like separate parts, but I can't really get any range of motion out of them, so they're just kind of stuck in there, I guess. So that's Grogu. Not that he needs a whole lot of articulation. Now let's take a look at IG-12. Raise the camera up a little bit. And I have to say, I don't know if there's any reuse on this from previous IG-88s. I don't think there is, because it's much bulkier than the IG-88 I have, which is the Archive edition. Even the limbs seem a little bit more thicker than on that version of IG-88. Now, how I think this is put together is like, there's the base part of the head, and then it's got these two rings, and then this cap on the top. I don't know if that comes off. I would imagine that it probably does. But anyway, the two rings do rotate. So 360 degrees of rotation there. And then the head does the full Exorcist. So that's good. But as far as any other range of motion in the head, there is none. At the shoulders, you can rotate the arms 360 degrees, and you can see how it's worked in there with a ball joint and, you know, a cut there to give him some range of movement in the articulation, and he can raise his arm up that high. And at the elbow, it's a single hinge and swivel, so it swivels around 360 degrees, and you can get way better than 90 degrees worth of bend out of that. You know, I went straight to articulation, didn't really talk about the figure itself. So here at his hands, or his claws, whatever you want to call it, they do spin around 360 degrees, and they are hinged, so they will open and close. They'll close like that. That's crazy. And then, but they only open that far. And is it the same on this hand? Let's see. No, this one seems to open a little bit more, so it may have something to do with the way I've got them positioned. And they kind of close. Oh no, it goes. I think they're supposed to stop when they meet, and maybe these are a little bent. I don't know. So this piece does fold down, so you can get Grogu in there, and we'll do that in a minute. And it looks like it's padded in there, maybe, for Grogu's comfort. And then he does have the two controllers here, which are on a ball joint at the bottom, and they move all around, so you can pose him with Grogu. Now he does have a cut here at the waist for 360 degree rotation. The hips are on ball joints, and they will give you that much of the splits. He will kick forward not quite 90 degrees, and backwards about that far. His butt flap here, I guess, is what it's called, what you could call it. Anyway, it stops there. So single hinge and swivel at the elbow, the leg elbow, the knee. But because of these hoses, you know, it's limited to what you can do with it. And this side, not quite as bad. It's got one hose, but you know, it won't allow it to go all the way around. And it is a single hinge and swivel. Oh, it feels like there's a swivel up here too. So yeah, there's a swivel up in here too. So he does have a thigh swivel as well, and it will go 360 degrees. And it's got a hose hanging out of it. So I'm going to show you the articulation range of movement on this knee because of the two hoses on this one. It does tend to, it doesn't really hinder it. It's just a pain in the butt. So kicks forward at the knee that far and back that far. So really very good. And it does rotate there as well. At the ankle part, well, actually above the ankle, right here where the foot goes into the leg, it's a straight peg there, and it does rotate 360 degrees. Now at the ankle itself, tilts forward that far, tilts back that far, so about the same. And it does have, I guess they would call that rocker, so I guess it's kind of rocker. It's rocker-ish. Now let's take a look at the deco and stuff on this figure, since I just completely glossed over all that. He's got some paint apps, you know, here for on the head. I'm not sure if they're eyes or what they really are, but it seems like the majority of this guy is molded in color, and he just has a lot of pieces stuck on. Of course, it's hinged right here, so Grogu can get in. We already covered that. And we got, these are probably paint apps right here. Maybe at the elbows. And these pieces, this is paint here on the legs, these shiny silver or shinier silver pieces. But as far as everything else, it looks like it's, you know, molded in the correct color. Maybe these are paint apps as well. But I have to say, he's pretty articulated. And I like this one. It's a much beefier body than IG-88. So maybe they'll, you know, rework this torso piece to be more IG-88-ish, or IG, you know, maybe we'll get another IG-11 on, you know, with a new torso. I mean, that would be cool. These pieces might be painted. It might be separate pieces. I'm not sure. But, you know, tons and tons of molded detail on this guy, because he was, you know, he was basically Greeble from the ground up. So let's open that up. Kind of move Grogu's arms forward a bit so maybe he can work the levers. So you gotta push him a little bit, kind of get him inside there. Still have to raise the arms up some. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then close that down. And there we go. Grogu is driving. And there you have it, my friends. There's a look at the figures and the accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series, Grogu and IG-12 with Anzellans, with Grogu in his old ride from one of the Target exclusive 2-packs. The next row back, we've got Archive Edition IG-88, Glavis Ringworld Book of Boba Fett, Daddy Dian, and from Season 3 of The Mandalorian, the Imperial Armored Commando. For our final set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series, IG-12 and Grogu with Anzellans, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant, Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series, IG-12 and Grogu with Anzellans, I have to say, you know, It's weird that they count the Anzellans as accessories and Grogu as a figure. Even though, you know, sculpt, paint, and articulation-wise, they're basically the same things. So, I guess they couldn't really get away with calling it a 4-pack because of, you know, Grogu and the Anzellans being so small, but that's beside the point. That's just something that's, you know, for me to ponder and wring my hands over, and why did they do that? I don't know. I'll never know. It's just, they did it, and I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. It's just weird to me that one's considered a figure and one's considered an accessory. So that's just weird. That's just me. You may feel different. Your mileage may vary. But as far as the set itself goes, you know, the Anzellans, I think they look nice, and for what they are, you know, they're kind of cool. I guess they're based off the same mold from the C-3PO with Anzellan from the Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. I don't own that figure. And it's not that I hate Anzellans because they were in Rise of Skywalker or anything like that. I don't. To me, though, those characters seem more like they would be at home in a Jim Henson movie rather than a Star Wars movie. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. The Grogu is pretty much this, you know, it's a new sculpt. But as far as what it does, it's the same Grogu that we've been getting. Just a new version of it. And it looks nice. It, you know, the parts of it move that need to move, and it's Grogu. Now, the real prize here is IG-12, and it's all new, and it is much improved over that IG-88 mold that they've been using, you know. They use for IG-88 and Archive Edition IG-88 and IG-11 and the other IG-11 and that IG-11 and then IG-88. And so anyway, that mold's been used a little bit, and it's you know, I'm glad to see that this is a new mold, and I hope this means that they're going to make a new torso and give us IG-88. Maybe not, you know. If they give us IG-11, I may or may not pick it up. I didn't pick it up the first time around. I didn't feel the need to. But on this mold, maybe I will. I don't know. But, you know, I definitely, if they do an IG-88 on this, I will more than likely, not definitely, but yeah, I'll probably pick it up. And, you know, just to see how that new torso works compared to the old one, because I mean the old one was not a bad torso. It's a pretty good torso. It's just like the rest of it is very spindly. It doesn't like to stand up, and this one isn't the greatest standing up piece, but it does okay. I don't have to put a stand on it to put it on the turntable, and IG-88, he has to have a stand in order to just put him on the shelf, much less on a turntable. And so, you know, I like this set, and it's good for what it is. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.